Yo, man. Bro, these last 2 days, the last 2 days have just been a blur. I want to thank my boy AJ. Shout out to AJ Alexander, twitch.tv/Alexander, and also on YouTube. We recorded our collaboration last Friday. And within the collaboration, I was like, you know what, man? Since you're catching up to the One Piece greatness, the Haikyu time is here. I just can't believe what I've experienced, bro. I dreamt about it for so long. I wanted to experience it for so long. I'll never forget the first time I watched a Haikyu episode back in like 2014. And it was just everything, bro. I was so obsessed with it, man. Y'all remember if you were here on the old channel. Y'all know how it was, bro. Like, man, it was crazy. I genuinely, from the bottom of my heart, absolutely adore this series. It's the reason why, when I did my sports manga favorites list, I put Haikyu, and I think it was the placement of fourth, with like the caveat, I'm nowhere near caught up to this. I love it with every fiber of my being, all right? I do. It just speaks to me, man. And so, Monday morning, I was out of it, man. I was not feeling it. I guess you could say that I was in a rut where I just felt lost. And so I was like, you know what, bro? Let me pop in a Haikyu episode. Watched one episode. That one episode. Now, I left off on season 4, part 2, the very first episode. I finished season 4, part 1. Didn't watch a lick of season 4, part 2. After the most recent channel update, gave myself the freedom to finally experience so many things I've wanted to experience, and I knew this was the first one I wanted to do. I watched a single episode. And that single episode at work, turned into binging the entirety of season 4, part 2, which is Karasuno versus Inarizaki, in a single shift. I was so hooked, bro. I could not stop watching. It was the collective sigh of relief of finally being able to experience something I have been wanting to experience for so long. But also the match itself was so phenomenal. I could not stop. The Mia twins, my boy Atsumu, it's just, the match had so many masterclasses, man. Listen to me. This is about to be a spoiler-filled discussion. If you don't want to listen to any spoilers, Haikyu, the anime, by itself receives the highest possible rating. The manga receives whatever you believe is the highest possible rating, whatever that is to you. Whatever you deem to be the highest possible rating that you would ever give a piece of media, that is what I'm giving Haikyu. So if you're here for the rating, have a good one. Experience the Haikyu greatness. I want to speak to the people today who have experienced this greatness. And so we're going to start off talking about the anime, and then we're going to go into the manga. 3, 2, 1. Karasuno versus Inarizaki, man. That boy Tanaka put on a masterclass. That episode stood out to me so much that I remember while I was watching it. I mean, it felt like while watching every single episode, the whole world was just shut off. But for that one in particular, I was really, really absorbed. Because I love whenever, similar to how the Shiro Torizawa match handled the Suki situation, I love whenever a match takes one of the members of Karasuno. I mean, and sometimes it's multiple of them, but if we'll get focused on like this one particular character, and we're just there for a prolonged period of time. I love that. I love that, man. And so when we got that for Tanaka in the Inarizaki match, I was like, no, this is incredible. This is incredible. And it just kept getting better and better from there, man. Another Suki masterclass in a big match. He's a big time player. Big time player. He's the greatest, man. Shout out to my boy Suki, man. The rest of Karasuno's going in. They're going back and forth. Inarizaki obviously has the advantage. So many great things over on that end as well. Like I said, with the Mia twins, the incredible stuff there with Kita as well, and a lot of the other characters. But man, when Hinata Shoyo hit the first receive, tears. Genuine tears, bro. That moment was so spectacular. I felt it with every fiber of my being. And little would I know that would not even be the best receive of the match. That top tier receive comes in. They continue to cook. We get to the final parts of the match. Everyone is going in at the highest level. So many characters. I loved how all the characters interacted with Kageyama. It was just so good, man. But when we get to the final sequence, Hinata receive once again. Bro, quick minus tempo. Go in. It's back and forth, back and forth. And when the twins go for it, I'm like, oh man. And what stops them? A block from our boys. From Kageyama and Hinata, bro. I was like, yo, man. It was so peak. The entire match was peak. But those two moments in particular, the first receive and the final receive with that entire exchange and the block, Zenith, man. When I finished the match, I was like, there's no way this can be topped. This was way too good. Boy, do I have some news for the King Recon from a day ago. When I got home yesterday, I made the decision because I'd already been spamming AJ throughout the day. I'm going to start reading the manga. And I'm going to share my thoughts on this read-through over on Twitter. I made a read-through thread. There was a lot of spam. If you would like to read it, it's still there. Covering from chapter 292 until the end of the story. This experience, combined with the Inarizaki match, but especially the manga, was one of the greatest binging experiences that I have ever had, man. It was top peak. I'm talking top. This is an all-timer in the history of Shonen Jump magazine type peak. Alright? This is up there with my favorite stretches of chapters in any series. Any series! Starting us off with a Nekoma match, man. And like I said, my brain is just so mush that there's bound to be a lot of things that I'm not going to be able to cover here. But man, oh man, trust me when I say so much peak, bro. Listen, man, the Nekoma match was so special that from the moment that I started it until I finished it, I stayed in the same position and continued reading from the very first chapter of that match until the end. I couldn't stop. I could not stop, bro. It was way too good. I had been waiting so long to see these two match up, for them to actually beat Inarizaki, get to that point, and then within the that particular section, we got to see how they were doing over on the Nekoma side of things, and got you more invested into their storyline as well. But man, when we get to the match itself, with all the history and build-up, and they're emphasizing on it, Furudate is emphasizing the history and build-up to this match. In the garbage dump of legend, when things start popping off, from the moment, from tip-off, until the end, it is Zenith. Zenith, man. Yo, Kenma. Whoa. Bro, the birdcage sequence, the night, bro. Yo, having that versus a Hinata Shoyo who just continued to progressively get more and more peak as the entire thing went on. It was so crazy. So crazy, man. I was like, dude, real shonen. It was just so much, man. Like, yo, Kuru and Suki, fantastic dynamic between the two, right? Kageyama and Hinata were just cooking. Every single time he went in, I was like, yo, we're in. He did the thing too. He did the Oikawa point, son. I was like, yeah. But man, the highlight of that match, without question, was the Hinata and Kenma stuff that continued to show itself throughout the entire course of the match. And when you get to the end of the match, and you get to see how the display of the entire stadium through the use of the art, through Furudate's incredible artistic vision, changes between a gym and a stadium in what is a back-to-back masterclass of page sequence. And it's brilliant. There was every single one of these matches have several different throw lines that were absolutely incredible. And in Inarizaki, there was quite a few. I can't wait to go back and rewatch the match, because like I said, so much is just gone up here, especially after what I just experienced. But in the Nekoma match, there was one that stood out to me, which is that we're all teachers to each other. And I love that a lot. I love that a lot because it goes into a part of the story that I really enjoy, which is the idea that these characters continue to learn from each other, like both from the teammate side and from their rivals. Those are their best teachers. The experiences that they have against those players is their best teachers. And so those moments, like you have with Kuru and Suki, like you have with Kageyama and Atsumu, or when you're up against somebody else, like we're about to get here in the next match, when you're up against someone else who's just like you, a rival, but not only just a rival, potentially a teammate that continues to push you to that next level. That was one of the things that was in the Inarizaki match, was how teammates can push you even harder than rivals can. We saw it through the Mia twins. We definitely see that with Kageyama and Hinata. but they were all teachers to each other. I thought that was a really, really incredible life lesson. There's a lot of incredible life lessons in the stretch, but that was a really, really good one considering the two teams that were facing each other there. I thought that was excellent. Absolutely excellent, man. But yeah, man, the Nekoma match was sensational. It was just, like I said, it couldn't stop turning the pages. Could not stop turning the pages. Anytime that I think of something like that, the quickest reference I can make is like something like a York New, where you just can't stop. So I was like, okay, we got Inarizaki. We had this incredible Nekoma match. What's next, man? Bro, from here to the end of the series, honestly, is one of the greatest things I ever experienced. Oh man, Karasuno versus Kamomedai, bro. Yo, man. Yeah. It's just, bro, when you look over here, man, and you see Hoshiumi and Hinata Shoyo, and it's like, yo, spring volleyball tournament boys quarterfinals is about to go off, man. I was like, hold on, bro, this is about to be crazy. So, let me tell you my experience with this right here. When I started the match, or when I started the build-up to it, it was this morning, because I finished Nekoma match late last night. This morning, woke up, got ready for the work day, and today was going to be a really heavy work day. So I was like, oh man, like, should I really start this? I said, screw it, I started it. We started off with the Bokuto match with Furudate. That was some really incredible stuff there as well. But then, of course, we transition over and we get the Kamomedai Karasuno greatness, man. And throughout the entire course of the match, even before the absolute insanity that takes place, it was just real shonen at the highest level, bro. So many incredible sequences with so many of the every single character had their time to shine on Karasuno, and it makes sense considering the what was about to take place. But I mean, bro, this man Hinata Shoyo. Yo, man, this was because, like I told you before, Oikawa was my favorite character for a very long time. And when I experienced the Ball Boy arc in the anime, Hinata became my favorite character in Haikyu, and it stayed that way, and it's solidified now. But in this particular matchup, man, with him and Hoshiumi bringing out the best out of each other, there was so many of those real shonen, this is peak type moments. But man, I have to highlight the stuff that takes place right before. Now, granted, like I said, I was experiencing a lot of this stuff and then had time to process because I was reading, working. I would get like these long, whenever I would go on break, I would have the opportunity to read a couple of chapters back to back. And that was always a great time. And it made me really appreciate and value each individual moment and chapter. It elevated the overall experience when it comes to this match. Which is why I think I hold it in such a high regard. Because for the first 75% of the match, that's how I experienced it. Was I would read a little bit of it, keep working, come back, read a little bit of it, keep working, come back. And so I always had it in my mind. Go on break, get those long stretches in. And it was just so good. It was nonstop. And there was one particular chapter, I think I still have it here in the thread, where right after we had just an incredible masterclass between Hoshiumi and Hinata. We cut over, and there's a chapter 343 titled Little Giants. It's a chapter dedicated to Hoshiumi. And there's just a few things that I just want to read here, bro, because this is so good. Oh my god, I'm gonna forget the Little Giant. Dude, when I saw the Little Giant, I hopped out of where I was, and I was like, yeah! Because, man, this is like the Shanks of this series, you feel me? I was like, yo! We're finally seeing the person who inspired Hinata to start volleyball in the first place, and just thought it was the coolest thing ever, man. So, that was great. And, of course, between the two Little Giants, you know, how else could it have happened, right? So many great things. start working now, and you've got a better shot at beating him. A better shot at beating him at beating better, and that will come into play later on in the magnificent final arc. But you know, the little giant even has a great little quote here. But I heard a long time ago just how short and weak I really am, and it's that acceptance from both him and Hinata that allowed them to get to the point to where they are right now. And I just thought that that was such a brilliant, brilliant thing that continued with his character until the end of the series. It was so good. So good, man. And so we go, oh my god, the Asahi Masterclass, bro, my ace. My ace. Dude, the Asahi Masterclass was on full display. I'm talking, it was hitting, it was firing on all cylinders. All cylinders, man. I was losing my mind. Dude, that entire sequence, because that was a part where I was really, really busy. So I would go back, read, and as I was reading, I was getting so hyped that I felt my productivity was actually getting better because of how legendary the Asahi content. This, and like I said, now with context, it makes so much sense why Asahi had the masterclass that he did. Because, man, the brother cooked. He cooked so hard, bro, and it was brilliant in the way that it was done because he was at the lowest level. He just kept struggling and struggling and struggling, but when he entered his stride, I was like, let's go, Asahi. Man, dog, that joint was so awesome. When Nishinoya was like, yo, I got your back, I almost brought a tear out of my eye, bro. I was like, yo, man, this is peak fiction, bro. It was so good, man. And everyone in Karasuno just continued to go in. Hinata started going in. From the moment that Korai Hoshiyumi said, I am Korai Hoshiyumi, it like unlocked something within Hinata Shoyo to where he put on the performance of a lifetime from that moment onward, bro. Dude, for the next few chapters, this man is in the best form we have seen to this point in this series. As a character and as a player, he is performing at the absolute highest level. But they continue to tell us this is the second match that they're playing today. The second match. Man, bro. So it was around chapter, I think it was 361, when we were sent home early. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you can hear it outside. Rain and thunder is going crazy because there's a hurricane hitting tonight. So came home, class was canceled. I was like, I'm going straight home for Haikyu. Straight home to Haikyu. And so from here on, I just started reading straight with like no interruptions, no nothing. I just kept going. I just kept going. I couldn't stop. But man, Hinata just has, bro. Oh, man. And it's like, man, it just keeps going. I want to be the greatest decoy, so peak, and we'll have something later on. But then Karasuno just starts going in. They are perfectly in sync. The entire team is going up in like swimwear. But Hinata is leading the charge. They cannot stop him. He is just executing at the highest level. And then he falls on the floor, bro. And I remember just reading it, and I didn't know what I was seeing. I couldn't process it. Because he hits the floor, they go to check on him, he's like, no, I'm good. Then they check on him again, he has an extremely high fever. The next thing we know, coach is saying, we got to take you out the game. And so at this point, I'm leaving shock mode And I'm going into denial mode, where I'm like, if you take that brother out the game, we're throwing hands. But as he started speaking, that's when it really started getting extremely emotional. And it hurt, bro. This moment hit about as hard as like a character death in another series. This really, really hit me, man. And it hits even harder now with context, seeing how this affected Hinata's life moving forward. Bro, look at this, man. I mean, it's insane. Right here, bro. Dude, I have to read this, bro. Hinata-kun, given how much you couldn't play during middle school more than anyone, you love and appreciate the simple joy of playing in a game. And when you can't, I know it must frustrate you more than anything. That's why, and this is the important part, Hinata-kun, I want you to engrave this feeling on your heart. Remember this feeling and tell yourself that you will never, ever allow this to happen again. Make sure it never does. Yes, in the future, there will be accidents you can't prevent. The unforeseen will happen. And when it does, engrave that feeling in your heart carefully, deeply. You once said that someday you'll win a gold medal. Multiple gold medals. Do you remember? Well, now you know. There are walls you can't get over with grit and gumption alone. When you hit those walls, what you need most are knowledge, a level head, and most of all, thoughtfulness. Hinata-kun, right now, this very moment, this is still volleyball. Concentrate on what you need to do to win. No, your body is not finished growing yet. I'm sure you will get taller with time. But volleyball is a sport that takes place across a very high, very imposing net. Never mind players who are 5'5" out on that court. 6'3" is still considered short. You are and always will be small. You won't be given the same chances other players are. It's unfortunate, but it's a truth you must accept. But that doesn't mean you have to give up. Make certain you grab each and every one you do get. Don't let a single one slip away. Hinata-kun, you of all people must always be prepared at a moment's notice. Be the one that's always at the very front of the line when opportunity comes knocking. And it's like, after hearing that, how can you not understand where the coach is coming from? But when you turn the page and you see Hinata say, I'm really sorry. And like even Daichi being like, yo, Hinata, this team needs you, so please go get some rest. We'll take care of it. Bro, when Hinata gets carried out, man. Oh, man. And then the Kageyama scene. And even Hoishumi was like, yo, I'll see you again. We will meet each other again, man. And so right now, I'm in the part where I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know if he's going to make a miraculous comeback. I don't know if he's going to come back out on the field. Are we going to win this match and then go into the next one where Hinata's going to join us? Because, brother, this was getting really, really insane. When Hinata went out and he got sent to the hospital and we stayed here with the Karasuno boys, I was up. I was like, put me in the game. Put me in the game. Oh, man, I was so invested. That might have been the most invested that I was up until that point. Actually, 100%. It was the most invested that I was up until that point. Oh, man, dude. I could not stop flipping the pages. I was like, we got this. Kageyama, let's do this. Asahi, let's do this. Nishinoya, let's do this. Tanaka, Suki, let's do this. We lost. And it was so heartbreaking, bro. It was so heartbreaking because if that would have never happened, we would have never lost. We would have never lost. But what a powerful message came of that, man. In what was without question one of the boldest, one of the most shocking, one of the most ambitious twists that I have seen done to a manga within this magazine. I know this magazine very well. This is right up there with the very best of them. Incredible, man. This was like my Paramount War saga in Haikyu. I mean, it was just wow. I mean, even the color page right here that did not have Hinata, where everybody else is trying to carry the banner for him. And it's just like, man, their spring comes to an end. And it's just, bro, that following chapter hurts so much, man. It hurts so much, bro. But when you get to the end of the chapter, and you get this incredible double-page spread that states it's only those brave enough, those bold enough, to follow the difficult, demanding path of competition, who have the right to reap the wealth of experience and memories that it can bring. For today, you happen to be the defeated. And when we flip over to the next panel, it is, without question, one of my favorite panels in the series, man. It was to this point. Now I really got to think about it, because my God, do we have some good pages at the end of the series. But to this point, this was without question my favorite moment. But what will you become tomorrow? And this is one of my favorite themes in fiction. But the way that it was done here, masterclass. Masterclass, man. What will you become tomorrow? And I think one of the reasons why it hit me so hard is because I thought back to the reason why I started this Haikyu catch-up journey again, which was that rut that I was in. And it's like, I could not have received that message at a better point. Right time, right place type of scenario. And it hit really, really hard. It hit extremely hard, man. It's just, but what will you become tomorrow? Sure, you may have lost today, but what are you going to do about that? That leads us into tomorrow. And then the phenomenal, absolutely masterful following chapter, where our beloved third years graduate. We see the ceremony. Man, when Hinata starts eating and the tears come out, bro, it hit, man. It hit so hard. But then you get to the end of the chapter. And man, we get to one of my biggest weaknesses. And this was when I knew. This was when I knew that this was written for me. This was when I knew that this was written for me. We get to one of my biggest weaknesses in storytelling, which are well-executed time skips. And this is up there with some of the greatest, bro. When I turned that page, and I said several years later, or years later, whatever it said, Brazil? We turn, we go, and we're seeing so many of the characters again. We're seeing how things have changed, where they are right now. My boy Hinata looking raw. I was like, no, this is speaking my language, man. This is speaking my language. When we actually get to go to Brazil and see that he's been on a journey of self-discovery this entire time, Hinata just kept shooting out my favorite characters list. I was like, no, this is peak. That entire section in Brazil is perfection. I mean, it is so good. It is so good, and it is a total Recon core thing. Of just well-executed time skip, an incredible setting, seeing the journey that Hinata embarked by himself to challenge himself by going to the beach and attempting to, jump higher and move faster by adjusting his feet to the sand. So by the time he would get back to the actual ground itself, the brother would be on a different level, and we know for sure that would be the case. But while in this entire Brazil section, I love the way that everything was executed. There was a particular chapter where we just saw a montage of him just going throughout his day within Brazil. And then whenever you get to the end of the chapter, you get to see that in his room, he has that quote that stuck with him throughout the entire spring tournament. He who would climb a ladder must begin at the bottom. And it's like, man, with the flashback there with Kageyama giving us little hints as to how they are right now. I mean, dude, then there was the Dragon Ball DVDs in Spanish, Portuguese, and English. I was like, nah, man, this is speaking my language. And then we get a One Piece reference. I was like, yeah! I was screaming, man. We got a really, really awesome One Piece reference. Hinata states that his favorite character is Hinata. And then the other character who's been helping him as his roommate here states that his favorite character is Luffy. I was like, that's a great pick. That's a great choice, all right? So it was so good. Going in between past and present there, but continuing to see Hinata's journey, seeing all the other characters refer to him here in high regard, Ninja Shoyo. I was like, yo, that's such a fire nickname, man. And he's just continuing to gain this notoriety, right? Then we get to nighttime. And oh man, bro. Oikawa shows up. This was when I knew, once again, this arc was written with me in mind. Because not only are those my two favorite characters, or I think they were. Man, at the end of the series, bro, it was just... I think it shook up my list. But Oikawa shows up. And just having Hinata and Oikawa teaming up, with all the magnificent character work that took place there. And in the sequences, the dynamic between those two, it was so beautiful, man. There was one particular chapter, it was the same chapter with the One Piece references. From the beginning of the chapter until the end of the chapter, it was just Recon core to the end. Everything that I love. Everything that I love was there. It was beautiful. Beautiful to the very end of the chapter. In that incredible Oikawa and Hinata, all their entire time together. And I think it was around this point, whenever we transition over to the next match that took place, the 2v2, that I was just in awe of everything. I couldn't believe that from the final match in the spring tournament to what was happening right now, how masterful everything was. Creating a level of immersion like that is very difficult to pull off. And even within Haikyu terms, when you're in a match and you're learning from the other individuals, right? And you're seeing what they're doing in something that I really love about this series is the way that they show enthusiasm for that. Like Miyatsumu, for example, something I really love about his character is that when somebody does something, that's really, really cool, he wants to try it out too. And he like really emphasizes that, like, yo, when you see something really cool, why wouldn't you want to try it out as well? Especially if you think that you can do it, right? And so, just on the storytelling side of things, I was just in awe the entire time on how somebody was able to write something like this weekly and have everything flow together so well. It just really made me want to pick Furudate's brain. And as I read that final section of the Brazil part, I just couldn't stop thinking that. Like, this is beyond masterful stuff. How are you doing this? I was genuinely in awe. Like, genuinely in awe. It was so good. And like I said, it's personal preference because I'm very biased towards not only time skips, but also journeys of self-discovery, and like slowly reintroducing old favorites and getting the band back together and stuff of that nature. Very weak to those types of arcs. And so that entire section already had me going. And then you have the characters that were there, right? And the themes that were discussed. And of course, there's the emotional attachment to the characters. Hinata himself continuing to be such a phenomenal character. I just couldn't help but be in complete awe of everything that was taking place. And then we get another time skip. Hinata goes back to Japan, and he joins a professional team. The team that Hinata joins also has Miya Atsumu, also has Bokuto, and so many of our beloved characters. Of course, Hinata's team and Kageyama's team. And they have this incredible moment where their dynamic is just on full display as we're seeing so many old favorites. Old members of Karasuno, our beloved 30 Years, Asuki, so many characters. In the midst of this, we get to see that our good brother Ryunosuke Tanaka actually got together. He actually got together with Kyoko after the entire series. Bro, when I saw this, I felt so much happiness. And I remembered at the end of, before the time skip happened, that, he offered to carry her bag. And she accepted. And I was like, okay, I thought nothing of it, bro. When I came over, I was like, yo, they actually got together. I just thought that was so cool, man. So cool. Everybody was cheering Hinata on. The handshake moment, peak fiction, one of my favorite panels in the series. Bro, I gotta read the starting lineup, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Fukuro Hirogami, Tatsuto Sokolo, Nicolas Romero, Korai Hoshiumi, Wakatoshi Ushijima, Tobio Kageyama, and Toshiro Heiwajima. On the other side, we have Shugo Mayan, Adria Thomas, Kotaro Bokuto, Kiyomi Sakusa, Atsumu Miya, Shion Inunaki, and Hinata Shoyo. This match is without question. I thought that the incredible Kamomerai and Karasuno match wasn't gonna be touched, and I thought that several times in a row. This one is my favorite match. I kept holding off and being like, hold on, man, I gotta stop myself. It might be in the moment of the hype, but no, this match is, bro. This match has some of my favorite character moments that I have ever read. Period. End of story, man. This is real shonen, real manga, real literature at the highest level. In 4K, however many P's we go up to. Peak fiction. This match, dude, I'm not gonna be able to handle it whenever it gets animated. At all. If this is our second movie, because I know we're getting 2 movies. If they split the first one into the day with the 2 matches, the second one with the Brazil stuff and this, that second movie is going to be the greatest movie I've ever seen. Bro, this match, man, literally every single character, every single last one of our beloved characters gets to shine in this match. But man, the Hinata Shoyo and Kageyama Tobio rivalry is on full display in this match. And it broke throughout the entire match. It is executed so beautifully, man. To the point to where it put tears in my eyes, because listen, not only did the two of them by themselves have legendary moments, together they had some of the best moments in the entire series. Easy. Not only just within the match, where it was non-stop back-to-back spike, receives and spikes back-to-back in some of the greatest moments. But in two individual chapters, in the King of the Court section, where we went through Kageyama's birth, holding onto a volleyball, and the entire chapter explores his journey to getting to this point. What took place within his life, everything from his perspective, to the point to where even his first meetings with someone like Hinata or an Oikawa were seen from his first person perspective. And so it is a magnificent, phenomenal, beautiful chapter that has, hold on, bro, I gotta pull some of this stuff up, man. It is zenith fiction, man. Hold on, where is it, bro? Look at this. I mean, it's just insane. Nishinoya fishing out in Italy. Being good means being free. So good. So right here, if you get really good, I promise you somebody who's even better will come and find you. I'm here, and he looks back, and we know who's coming in. Oh, man. And then the final part right here, if you get really good, I promise you, somebody even better will come and find you, as Hinata's there, the chapter title called The Greatest Opponent. Seeing Kageyama's entire journey, and then seeing this, and then this is followed up by a Kageyama masterclass on full display, the King of the Court robe and all. I was like, yo, those three chapters back to back is zenith fiction, man. Zenith, Goat Raw Fire, and Peak to the max. To the max. It was so incredible, man. This chapter was special. From here on out, every single character gets their own chapters dedicated to them, with multiple character arcs concluding back to back. Miyatsumu, even Kita within that particular section, Osamu as well. Magnificent section right there. The Ushiwaka stuff, and the Hoshiumi stuff, and everyone, every single Bokuto, every character that is involved here gets their moment of closure. And it is so beautiful, man. So beautiful. But then we get, bro, to the stretch of absolute legend. I think it's like from chapter 397 that it starts, where it is finally, man, the Shida Torizawa Karasuno rematch of the two kings throwing down in real Shonen. And let me tell you how crazy fate worked here. That I was listening to the Haikyu soundtracks in the background, and right around when this started happening, Hikari, I believe the way you said it is R-A, A-R-E, the fifth opening where the Shira Torizawa Karasuno match, of course, or the opening for that particular match started playing. Oh man, bro, when that started playing, man, it's like it hit like 50 times harder. And you just get these incredible dope spreads back to back, where he's just trying his hardest to destroy Hinata, and he just can't. Hinata receives it, and we get in chapter 398 a Hinata Shoyo masterclass that solidifies him as one of my favorite characters of all time, man. That chapter... Hold up, bro. Hold up, bro. Hold up, bro. It's too big. It's too big. It's way too big, bro. Yo, man. We cut over. We see everyone just going in. Then these two have a Conqueror's Hockey clash to crush you. Hinata gets up. We get a first-person perspective of him watching them as he is standing on the beach in Brazil. He sees Ushiwaka as he's about to attack. We're still seeing it from a first-person perspective. And then the receive in one of the coolest Ope spreads. He hits it, lets out the yeah right now at this very moment. And it shows a montage of Hinata's entire journey as a character up until this point, from the very first chapter, very first episode until now. This is still volleyball when the coach was talking to him back in that pivotal moment when he was taking out the game and the chapter title comes in. He who would climb a ladder must begin at the bottom, bro. Listen, man. I think right now, this and a chapter I'm about to talk about here in a second, and that Kageyama chapter, plus some of the ones I talked about earlier, those are like in the mix for favorite chapter. But I think this one's in the lead right now. I absolutely loved this chapter, man. This chapter was so special. So special. He who would climb a ladder must begin at the bottom, bro. It's the culmination of this this character journey, dog. And it was so brilliant. So brilliant. This is still volleyball, man. And it's just, bro. It's insane. And it just continues. It's just every single player is going in. Following chapter ends. Let's keep this going. Let's keep playing even more volleyball as Kageyama and Hinata get really into it. And the following chapter is just double page spread galore, as it's just back and forth. And man, then at a match set point, Hinata goes up and meets Kageyama in the air with a banner, the Karosuno High banner being raised. We get a phenomenal double page spread of the two of them up in the air in chapter 401, which this chapter is just special, bro. It is special. Man, if you get really good, I promise you, somebody who's even better will come and find you. And we just get a back and forth between the two. And the world's greatest decoy works his magic once again, as Kageyama, who had his eyes on Hinata, did not expect Bokuto to get the ball instead. Bokuto nails it. The greatest decoy does his job, and they win the match, man. Sensational stuff, man. With the chapter ending on the two of them after another time skip has taken place, getting ready to participate in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics. Phenomenal double spread that I want to make my wallpaper. And we just get an incredible Argentina versus Japan masterclass with so many incredible moments in this final chapter, man. Two teams separated by a net bounce a ball back and forth between each other. The ball is not allowed to touch the floor. It cannot be carried. Once it is in the air, a team has no more than 3 touches to connect. Panels. Masterful. And take the ball from receive to attack. Masterful. And then we get the panel of all panels with Kageyama and Hinata and their legendary fist bump, with the original series coming to a close in the Volleyball Men's World Championship Finals. Italy Serie A, Ali Roma versus Asa Sao Paulo, Brazil Super League. Today, once again, I'm going to win. Final chapter, challengers. Then we get the following little add-on chapter where they work again against each other in an all-star special match with so many legends on both sides. But at the end of the day, Kageyama and Hinata are on opposing sides. And I'll tell you, man, this journey was so special to me, bro. Not only was it finally being able to experience something I've been wanting to experience for a really long time, but also what I was experiencing was so special. That normally I would be like, I regret not experiencing it beforehand. But if there's anything this series has taught me, it's that I'm grateful for the fact that I did experience it while I was going through what I was going through. And I spent these last 2 days just absorbed in having the experience of a lifetime. Because who knows, had I experienced this beforehand, I would not have appreciated as much as I do right now. Because I experienced it today, man, did I love this, bro. I loved it so much, man. Like I said, from starting the Inarizaki match until the end of the story was just, man, one of the all-time greatest binges, bro. It was so special. So special, man. So many phenomenal character moments, so many great life lessons. I can't wait to go back and reread/rewatch this entire thing with a clear mind and actually pick up on so many of the things that Furudate was trying to say. Because there's so much that he did say, so much that did truly impact me. So many panels I have saved that did not have the opportunity to talk about here. It just impacted me personally. And I just want to say thank you to Furudate, man, for creating this masterful story that I adore with every fiber of my being. It is truly something special and without question one of my all-time favorites, man. It is up there in the highest echelon with my favorites, man. It was just so good. And you know, there's something that all of my favorites have in common. And that is that just when I think they've peaked, they surprise me and peak even harder. And that is something that this series continues to do time and time and time and time again, man, to the very end of the story. And so Haikyu, without question, gets the rating of the highest possible rating, whatever that is to you. 5 stars, a 10, an S+. To me, go raw, fire, and peak. Because when you go through as many emotions as I went through, while also experiencing something on a very personal level, you know, getting the goosebumps that I did at multiple different points, while also getting extremely emotional at the same time, being that immersed, man, I'm very grateful for stuff like that, bro. And so this is one that I'll never forget, man. And I'm so glad I finally experienced this, bro. It felt so good to finally experience this, man. And to know that it was way better than I could have possibly ever imagined just makes me 5 times happier. So thank y'all again, man. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. To everybody who read the thread that I posted over there on Twitter of the entire thing. I appreciate y'all for dealing with my spam. Just wow, man, what an experience. What an incredible, incredible experience, man. Wow. Even now I'm speechless, you know? I haven't had the time to process, to think about all of this. There's so much greatness that was here. But just off of initial feeling, initial emotions, one of the all-time greatest experiences, man. So many things that spoke, that impacted the soul. Things that are unique to my own personal preferences in literature, that were just executed at the absolute highest level, man. I love Haikyu, bro. And Hinata Shoyo, one of my all-time favorite characters, man. Up there with the very best of them. Peak fiction, brother. Peak fiction, man. Y'all have a good one. I will see y'all next time. Thankfully, I was able to record this entire thing without having the power go out. That's something I was really worried about. I actually ended up downloading the chapters just in case the power did go out. So, I thank y'all so much, man. What a journey, bro. Like, I still can't believe what I experienced, man. It was so peak, bro. Like, everything. It was just so peak, man. Wow. Wow, bro. Shout out to my boy Miya Atsumu, man. Kageyama Tobio. So many wonderful characters, bro. So many great life lessons. It's nothing but gratitude. Nothing but gratitude. My boy Hinata Shoyo, bro. When he's in Brazil, dog, like, come on, man. This is why we read manga, man. It's for experiences like this, dude. I will see y'all. Take care. Please let me know in the comments down below your experience with Haikyu. I would love to read up on that, man. And I look forward to finally getting the opportunity to see all the Haikyu fan art and wallpapers that are here, because I spent so long avoiding that stuff in order to avoid spoilers that now I can't wait to go crazy and finally get to see so many of those things. So if you have any nice ones, please send them my way. I would absolutely love to see them. Thank you so much for watching. Y'all have a blessed one. Take care, man. Haikyu, yo.